excited about yourselves? I'm sorry, I'm excited about liberty. Are you excited about yourselves? God is doing something at liberty, and you gotta know it, man. God is doing something at liberty. I'm excited to be here with my big bro, Dr. Keith Bolden, from the pastor. Come on, you can go back. He's always been the oldest, and I want to go on record by saying he is older than me. That's all good. I love my big bro. I'm in seminary now, so he's helping me and showing me and teaching me and activating my thought process as usual, and challenging my mind. But I think it's always important to really be around people that challenge you. Amen? It's the only way you can grow. Some people don't like to be challenged because they don't want to grow. But if you want to grow, you gotta challenge them. The men, I don't want to let y'all in on all of our secrets. That's right. About losing mountains. What stays in the mountain, what goes on in the mountain, stays in the mountain. And we had a lot of good time. Let me tell you, we talked about building capacity. And I believe that in this day that God now is building capacity in His church and His people. But in that, I'm going to tell you what else I'm so excited about, and that is the youth here. Amen. Boy, Isaac is killing the game, and I'm excited about what's happening here at Liberty, because let me tell you something, in some churches, there is no acknowledgement of the youth. And when you don't acknowledge youth, you're pretty much a dying church, because there's nothing to pass in this generation. So it's so important that we do that, and so I appreciate and I'm excited that Liberty now is a thriving church that believes in imparting to our youth. Amen? Amen. Listen, I ain't going to be here long, and I'm going to warn you, I know this is a Bible teaching church, and so I do have scriptures in my notes, but the proper way to preach is to just have one passage and to exegete it properly. I do know how to do that. But today, the Lord has me in a couple of different spaces. And so just kind of bear with me today. And you know the rules. When I say, can I keep it real, you say, keep it real. I'm sorry, can I keep it real? Keep it real. Keep it real. Right? As long as you do that, then it'll speed up the process. And as opposed to me preaching for 5 hours, I'll just preach for 2 hours. I'm just joking. Hey, listen, I want to talk about what I call the space. The space is the place where I meet God. I want to talk about the space and how, whether you're young or whether you're older, the space now is the place where we meet God. Amen? Some time ago, Meryl Streep, the actor, she was staying with this gentleman his name was Jon DeCuir, until he died of bone cancer in 1978. And later on, what she found is they asked her a question. They said, hey, listen, Miss Meryl Streep, they said, do you have anything, what's your ties to religion? And this is what she said, I quote. She said, I follow no doctrine. I don't belong to a church or a temple or a synagogue. And she went on to say this. She says, I've been really deeply interested, but because I think I can understand the solace that's available in the whole construct of religion. But I really don't believe in the power of prayer, or things would have been avoided that had happened that were awful. So it's a horrible position as an intelligent, emotional, yearning human being to sit outside of the available comfort there. In other words, I went to the space to pray for my fiance, Jon DeCuir. And when I went there to pray for him, the result that I was looking for in prayer did not happen. Therefore, I don't want to have anything to do with that God. Have you ever been to this space and prayed for something that did not happen? Have you ever went to God and said, God, this is what I want you to do? I remember when I was younger, I used to pray about a whole bunch of stuff. And I used to be like, Lord, what about this? What about that? Because I would go to church and my father would say, God can do anything but fail. Well, God, see, I'm a thinker, though, Sean, so if God can do anything but fail, when I go pray, it's supposed to happen. What do you do when you go to the space and what you're praying for doesn't happen? Let's not talk about Meryl Streep no more. Let's talk about me. I remember, Dr. Bowden can remember this some years ago. I had the most precious grandmother. Her name was Orly, calling me Mimi. And I remember she was one of those sweet grandmothers that did and gave to everybody. It's my father's mother. And I remember this particular day, my father now gets in the pulpit, and I've never seen this before from my dad. Y'all know my dad. I'm telling him a little bit. Hopefully he's not watching. He might be. Sorry, Dad. And he gets up in the pulpit, and this is what he says. He says, I don't understand today why, when I pray for your people and for your mothers and for your fathers, I don't understand why they got up out the hospital. Jesus. But I pray for mine today, and mine did not. My grandmother died. What do you do when you go to the space? And what you're praying for is not, it doesn't happen. This is what happens. What it does is it makes me not want to go to the space. Can I keep it real? I submit to you that there's 5 perspectives that reveal how we operate in the space. I'm going to tell you what they are. The first one, I call it the outer space perspective. The outer space perspective. How many of y'all seen Moses, the movie? Where the guy gets up, God goes, Moses, with a loud voice. But he seems super distant. Some of us treat God like a distant relative. You know the distant relative when he goes to barbecue. You know them well enough to know them by their name, but you don't get invited to none of the parties. You know, that relative where you know him but you don't really know him. Some of us now, our perspective of God in the spaces is that God is there but he's distant. I bought my Bluetooth. Ronnie was like, you taking the Bluetooth up there? I said, yeah. Some of us treat God so that it becomes difficult now to process God with the amount of space that we got. So one day I was in the washroom and I was washing my clothes. I had my Bluetooth on and I brought it up here so I could show it to you. And what it was is I put it around me. I had it in my ear. And so when I was by my phone, I was connected. But then I left my phone inside of the house, and then I went into the washroom, and when I went there, the little computer lady got on my thing, she said, no connection. The further I got from my phone, she says, no connection. And then she said this, she says, trying to connect. It's interesting, our spirits are always trying to connect, but the further and further we get away from God, the more space we have the outer space perspective. It is a distant relationship, and it becomes difficult to hear God because I'm not in the proximity of, I'm not close enough to Him. So one perspective is the outer space perspective. And some of us need to go back and reconnect. Another perspective is the something told me perspective. You ever do that? You're afraid to say God said it. You know, I was walking down the street and something told me. There was a lady I read about. I read about this lady, and she was moving out of her house, and she said this. She said, I had a step stool, and she was stepping up on the step stool. She said she was going to do it because she had to read something in the cabinet, and she said she heard something clear as day, but she said it was something. Tell her, don't do it. Of course, she did it anyway, and when she did it, she fell down and broke her elbow. So she's telling the story in the hospital. What she actually attributed to was her intuition that something told her. Because it's easier not to give God an ID card. Because if I give God an ID card, see, there's a reason why I don't want to give God an ID card. As long as I say something told me. It reminds me of my mama. Whenever we moved into a new house, she would say, John, this is your room. It's much different than going to a hotel. See, when I go to the hotel, like when I leave here, go to the hotel, go to sleep. I'm going to go to sleep, by the way. But when I go to sleep, I can go to the hotel. Can I borrow these real quick? And I know I should be doing this real quick. See, when I go to the hotel, I can go to the hotel and I can jot some things. And the reason why I can do that is because the room doesn't belong to me. I know for a fact that there's going to be somebody that's going to come behind me whose job is to clean that up. But when my mama told me in the new house, this is your room, once it's identified, then now I'm responsible for cleaning up. Behind the reason why sometimes, you look straight ahead, not you, but the person may be sitting next to you. Sometimes we don't want to give God an ID card because if I give my ID card, I got to do what he says. It's straight ahead. It's all right. It's all right. The other reason why I don't want to give God an ID card is because I'm afraid that it wasn't him. That's good. It's easy for me to say something told me. Because if I give my ID card and I'm wrong, then everybody's gonna be like, you missed it. That's right. Let me give you a little word of advice there. You ever had somebody on your cell phone call you on your cell phone? Young people can relate to this. You talk to them so much that when the phone rings, you pick it up and be like, hello? And they say, what's up? You be like, who's this? And they say, it's me. They haven't identified who they are, but it's funny when they say it's me. You be like, oh, it's you. And you can name them by name, but why? It's because you commune with them so much that you know the voice when you hear it. The question God is asking today is that, do you know his voice? And are you sure enough now to where when you're in this space, even though you got this perspective that something, he says, give me an ID card. He says, say that it's me. Don't be so afraid to say that it's me in the space. So you got the outer space perspective. You got the something told me perspective. And I call this one, you got the social network perspective. There's another perspective. Me and my homeboy, my little son, that's my road dog. We go to his favorite spot. My son is a little bougie. And so I took him to Red Lobster. And when we got to Red Lobster, we sat at the table, and what I noticed is while we were at the table, sitting there, both of us were on our phones. Now, see, this is the crazy part. We went there to spend time together. But I found now the thing that's called social media, the whole purpose of social media is to connect you to people. But the very thing that was supposed to connect us was actually disconnecting us. And I wrote this in my notes. Religion sometimes has an effect on us. It's supposed to connect us more to God, but most times it gives us a ritual or a practice without relationship. So some of us have a social network perspective. perspective with God where it's like I go through religious practice, but I have no relationship. It's just religion. That's kind of how we deal with God sometimes. Can I keep it real? Yeah. Then we got this angry parent perspective. Some of y'all been too young for this. Some of y'all OGs in here, y'all remember Mommy Dearest, the movie? Y'all remember that? I'm telling my age. Hey, today Isaac got up, side note, has nothing to do with the message, side note. Isaac got up here talking about all my young people 35 and under. Let me tell you something. I had a real epiphany today. I'm no longer a young person. Welcome to the club. What was I talking about? Mommy Dearest? Okay, yeah. So Mommy Dearest, there's one part, I think her name is Joan, the star's name, Joan Crawford, yeah. And she threw a birthday party for Christina, her daughter. Bought her a whole bunch of lavish gifts. And they made her give them all away to Goodwill after she bought them. Some of us now in this space, we don't deal with God is because we feel like God gives us a whole bunch of stuff and then tells us to give it all away. We can't experience any of it for ourselves.
That's good.
So we get all these different perspectives about how God operates and to respond to the space where we meet Him. How does He want us to respond? This is where the Bible comes in. I won't read these to you because I have too many to read to you, but I'm going to just tell you what they are. You can study for yourself. Amen? Genesis chapter 3, verse number 9. Me and the men, we went through this up in the mountains. One of the things that I noticed is that sometimes in this space, we have all these different perspectives that we operate in, and another one is shame. So Adam now is told not to eat from the tree, but he goes on ahead and eats from the tree anyway, right? And when he eats from the tree anyway, what happens is now he's running in shame. So we think now that the space is used for God to expose us. But when you go a little bit further in the verse, Genesis 3 and 21, what you find is that the very person who they're running from, when he does find them, the first thing he does now is he covers them. Why does God want you to go to the space? Because He wants to cover you. Are you with me? This is something that we spend so much time running from God. Come here for a minute. We spend so much time running from God that we miss the opportunity to be covered by God.
Stop running.
There's about 2 or 3 people in here that's running. Look at the other level and tell them, stop running. Stop running. In Genesis chapter 13, verse 14, there's another story. I like this story too. I call this the invited, uninvited guest. Here you have in this space, how does God operate in this space? Some of us now, we struggle because we struggle with alignment with God. Somebody say alignment. Alignment. In Genesis 13 and 14, God tells Abraham in chapter 12 to go to a place I'm going to show you and to leave everybody. And what he decides to do is take Lot. Well, wait a minute. He just told you to leave and don't take nobody. So why are you taking Lot? Give me 3 brothers real quick. Brother, please. Y'all quick right here. Yeah, y'all come on to me real quick. This is the crazy part. Give me one of y'all. Stand right here. In the middle here. You stand right there. You stand on this side here. It's interesting now. God now wants us to hear Him, but if we're not in alignment with Him, we can be in alignment with something else. There's always a distraction to your left, and there's always a distraction to your right. There's always something trying to pull you from God. Watch this. We're going to make litter God. So I want to hear from God in this space. He told me don't take nobody. But why did He tell me don't take nobody? They're talking, have a little conversation with this party. I'm going well. I'm doing good. I'm like, awesome, man. This is great. Man. Awesome. Keep on. And that's what I want you to do. When I move over, I want you to continue to move your mouth. about something that pulled me out. There's something that I took with me that wasn't supposed to go. That he told me don't go. So God, it's not that God is not talking, because he thought, there's nothing. God is saying a whole bunch of stuff. He's still talking. Now watch this. As soon as I step back. Now something is putting me something. God is still talking now. In the space. But there's something now pulling me from the space. What is pulling you from the space? What are you carrying with you? What have you invited into the space that makes you not align with God? It's not that God is not talking. God is always talking. If I can just give myself, the scripture says that when him and Lot separated, Abraham and Lot separated, the scripture says, and the Lord said, you waiting for God to say something? I dare you to clean your room out. Take out all those unnecessary people. Some of those unnecessary people. Unnecessary relationships. So that God can speak to you. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Listen. And life is important. I mean, we can see it. We got Jay-Z broke up with David Dash. You got Beyonce broke up with Destiny's Child. You got Cisco broke up with Drew Hill. You got Diana Ross broke up from Supreme. You got Flash from the 5 Heartbeats. Y'all too young for that. You got Mike Jackson and Jackson 5. The question I ask you is this: that in all those situations I just named, those people became bigger when they broke away from something.
Wow.
What do you need to break away from in the space? When you get aligned with God. Let me tell you something. With God, there's going to always be something that you got to get rid of. Let me get out of here. Keep it real. You know what? Let me say this. Let me say this. Let me pause there. For those of you in this room that feel like you missed something, that you ran out of time. At my house, I love watching the Lakers. Don't judge me. Thank you very much. If you love the Lakers, you're going to heaven. If you don't, just so you clear. So, I was watching the game, but I had to go do something. So what I did was, I hit the record button and I left. Now, what I love about my DVR is that when I got back to the house, I didn't have to start it over. It has a thing on there that says resume. And I just click the resume and I start from where I left off. And I tell you this about the Spirit, is that God has so much love for you. That when you get back aligned to Him, He's just going to click resume and you just start from where you left off. I love this. This part I got to show you. The space is a place of refuge. It's a place also where He carries you. I told you about a whole bunch of things that happen to us where we don't understand why it's happening. I got a homeboy. His name is Zechariah. He's found in Luke chapter 1. And I was talking to him the other day. And this is what he shows me now. The story goes like this. He has been believing God for something for so long that he got used to it not happening. The scripture, when you read it, it gives the implication that him and his wife have been praying for a child for so long that he had become numb to the request of it. So when the angel showed up and said, today is your day, he had been waiting for so long that it was no longer important. You ever prayed for something for so long that when it showed up, you was kind of numb to it, like, is it really today? So watch this. What God did to him, so he wouldn't mess it up, was he muzzled his mouth so he couldn't talk. And everything that God could have done to him, he could have made him not be able to walk. He could have made him a whole bunch of different things, but what God did was he shut his mouth. Can I talk to some people in this room? Can I keep it real?
Keep it real.
Sometimes you, in the space, all you got to do is you got to sometimes just kind of shh, be quiet. Because your mouth will take you to some spaces.
That's right.
Can I keep it real?
Keep it real.
My mouth had taken me to some spaces that I wasn't supposed to go. So what do I do in the meantime now? What's the preaching part? What do we do when we go through stuff like you went through, my father went through, like you go through? What do you do when you pray for something and you feel like it's not working? Zechariah says, sometimes we don't understand what God is doing in the space, so we have to shh. Let me see. Where the writing go? Writing go. Put it on the side of me here. Now watch this. Now you gotta follow me here. Give me one more, Brian. Brian, come on, listen. Is that right? You gotta follow this one, okay? This is in the same scripture. I love this part. In the same scripture, it says this. In the Old Testament, the prophets actually prophesied. Now stay with me. Are y'all with me? You gotta stay with me on this one. Come here. The prophets now in the Old Testament said that John was coming, the Baptist. There was going to be a precursor to Jesus. So watch this. The prayers already existed for John before his daddy started praying about it. There's already prayers going up. So why does God now stop him from talking? Because if there's already prayers going up, God wants him to stop talking so he doesn't interfere with the prayers that already exist. There's some prayers about you that already exist that you don't even know about. Why does God now tell you to be quiet? There are prayers now that exist about you already. So that when you stop believing or when you have a doubting problem, what you got to do is you got to fall back on the prayers. Pick me up. Listen, right now, I told the prayers to pick me up because I don't have enough faith in my own self. Now watch this though. Not only do I fall back on the prayer. This is the thing. See, God told me I'm supposed to be past this podium. But I ain't got the faith to get there. But if I just be quiet and let the prayers now will carry me to the space that I gotta be. There are some things in your life where the prayers now have to carry you when you can't carry yourself. That's the reason why you gotta continue to go to the space, because even when it doesn't work, if you think it should work, there's some stuff behind you have no idea about. There's some prayers. There's some grandmamas and some granddaddies and some people that's praying for you. There's stuff behind you don't even know about. So why do I got to keep going to the space? God says, listen, you can trust me in the space even if you don't understand it. What I want you to do, he says, I want you to get aligned to me. I want you to get aligned to me. Let me carry you. I ain't trying to shame you. I want to cover you.
Come on, Pastor John.
He says, have the courage to clear some of your space. And then he says, just in case you start doubting, he says, be quiet long enough to let the prayers that's already been prayed carry you. Okay. There's some people in this room that's experienced some discouragement. You prayed, you thought it was going to work out a certain way. It didn't work like you thought it was going to work. What's the good news I got for you today? Is that regardless of if you understand it or not, you got something back to you that's going to carry you. If I'm talking to you, come here. Literally, come here. Come. 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 You've been going through this thing, you've been going through this thing. I'm a little discouraged today. I got somebody to pray about. Let me tell you something.
Wow.